Hey guys, this is Jonathan from Off Market Ninja with another video. This video is about how to analyze a deal on Zillow. And once you know it, I already found your deal. So if you are if you're watching this video any time around this date, this deal is active. This is live, I should say, and this person is selling, and I have verified this is an owner selling their home, and this is a good deal. If you can get it for the right price, it's a good deal. So how do I analyze deals? All right, so there's two things that you're gonna need. Number one, you have to have motivation. That's with any deal. Motivation is very, very important. I can't tell you how many people come to me like, hey, what do you think of my deal? And my first question is, do they have motivation? What's the motivation level? Oftentimes it's well, he's not really looking to sell, he's just kind of looking. You don't want to deal with those type of deals. You want to deal with somebody who has motivation. Motivation is very important, so you have to have motivation, and there's some ways to look at Zillow and check motivation. Um, and number two, your numbers need to make sense when it comes to deal. So let's look at this one for example. We're looking at this property which is listed for 100,000. The first thing I'm going to look at, and the first thing I'm going to scroll all the way out here. I'm going to look at price and tax history. I want to look at that history. I want to see when it posted, what the fluctuations in price have been, if there's been any, and like this one started at 95 and then went back up to 200 and then again to 95. And I also want to see when the changes happened. You can tell it's kind of this was the next day after posting, but you can tell that it's like almost every 3 days that there's been changes in the post. All right, so that's the first thing. In the If this has been here, if it's been 3 months and this property still available for sale, and it's been 3 months since it was posted, that is a great indicator that they may be motivated. They may not have been motivated when they posted the property, but they are definitely now. You're getting motivation through desperation. Um, so that's a good indicator. Another great indicator is if you see that the property was listed and then goes away, like it got taken away, it was sold or whatever, or under contract or whatever. On the contrary, I only say it when it's listed by a realtor, by the way. But if it goes away and then comes back, and then that happens a few times, that's another great indicator of motivation. So this property has been listed for almost a month. It's been fluctuating a little bit, and let's read this. Let's read this. That's another thing you need to look at, the description. This is how I know it's a seller, and it's also a great indicator of motivation. So house is being sold as is, will not sell for less than listed price. Okay, listed market value. I'm sorry, Zillow market value is 112,000. That's that's hilarious. Uh, Only serious inquiries, please call. All right, so um, and another thing, sometimes I look at this portion right here, which is like an optional. Uh, it's an optional field on Zillow. Sometimes, most of the times, it's gonna be the sellers that write something on that field. Um, and as you can see, there's nothing really in this post or in this description related to anything uh, like real estate related, like no ARV mention, or no, hey, all my investors, or cash buyers only, nothing like that. It's just definitely a seller trying to sell their house. So that's a good indicator as a seller, and it's also a good indicator of motivation. Now, it says will not sell for less than listed price. Yes, that doesn't sound like they're motivated, but trust me, I can't tell you how many times I have seen that, and I call them, and they are motivated. So you actually will not know how motivated they actually are until I actually call them. But there's some things that you can actually look at um, to gauge motivation. So the other thing that I look at to gauge motivation. And let me give you the disclaimer. All right, Sestimates are not to be used as ARV. That's my camera right there. I'm looking at the camera. Sestimates are not to be used as ARVs ever, ever, ever in no world, no way. Okay, um, this is the only way I use estimates ever. I use estimates to gauge motivation. The reason being is because this owner, whenever he or she posted his or her home, Zillow, as when he was going through the process of posting his or her home, Zillow gave this person a warning, like, hey, their estimate says that this property is worth X amount of dollars. Are you sure you want to post it for this amount? Which, you see the estimate being this much, and they posted it for, well, they actually posted it for 495 instead of the 118. 9 times out of 10, you'll see people post when they post, especially for sub owners. When they make a post, they just like maybe knock off a few $100s out here, a few thousand. If maybe the house needs some work, they just take off $5,000. Like, it's what they think that should happen, and most 9 times out of 10, that's what they do. Which doesn't really show motivation, even though I have calls on some of those. But this person being almost $20,000 apart, and actually being $20,000 apart when he or she first posted, I see some motivation here. So this is definitely worth the call. So that's number one. I see some motivation here. That's the first thing you gotta gauge. Motivation, motivation. Even though the choice of words here in this description would not sell for less than listed price, it kind of drops their motivation level for me from 75% to about 45% because just the choice of words on here. But again, it's worth the call. So you will never know their motivation until they until you get on the phone and actually talk to the seller. And I have been on the phone. I have called somebody, and the call starts being a hostile call, for lack of a better term. A better term. Um, and through my rapport and through my own personality, I'm able to bring the guards down and actually get where I need to be, and be a human with that person. Like, hey, I can't give you X amount of dollars, but would you take this much? So um, I'm not gonna say I'm definitely not gonna be go on record and say that motivation you can build motivation, because you can't. There's no way to do that. Just the person and their situation, but there is a way that you can go from a hostile seller to a more easygoing seller who may or may not accept a lower price, just because who you are, what your personality is. So, um, but anyway, so this particular one, I see some motivation. I don't see 100% motivation. This is not one that I would get in my car right now at 11:45 and try to go see the house. But it's definitely something that I would be calling on. And by the way, guys, it's listed right now. If one of you guys want to go for it, go for it. If you do get it, let me know. I definitely would like to know. Put it in the comments. Shoot me a message in the group, which by the way is Real Estate Wholesalers Wholesaling Real Estate. So yeah, if you get this property, which I think it will be a good deal, somebody can make some good money out of this property. And this is live right now. I mean, I'm not creating any dummy data. This is live. This is Zillow. This is live Zillow right now. Anyway, so this property is on here. So we have some motivations that box is checked. The next thing to figure out is your numbers. So your numbers make sense with this one. Now, the only way to figure that out is to run some comps, right? So I taught you how to run comps if you don't have the MLS access, you're using Zillow. There's another video that I'll link in the description. You have to run your comps, and that you have to figure out if these numbers make sense. So let's say, for example, just for the example that Zillow it's going to be, it's right, and that's your ARV. Again, not to be ARV, but just for the example, let's use the 118 and see if that works. So I have my calculator here. I can run my numbers with just the calculator. So let's just use the 118 just for demonstration, guys. If you're gonna go for this deal, don't use my numbers. Okay, these numbers are just for demonstration. Okay, so I'm gonna use the 118 and times 70%. Okay, so my 70% on this property is 82,600. All right. So let's say I want to make a $5,000 wholesale fee. So minus 5,000. Now we are at 77,600, right? And from looking at the property from outside, there's no pictures here. There's no pictures here, but let's just say this property is gonna need maybe $10,000 in repairs, maybe when we get inside. Um, so again, these numbers are not concrete numbers. Please don't use these. Do your own diligence if you're gonna go for this deal. But it's just for demonstration sake. Okay, so I'm at 77. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. My thing is messing up. Anyway, so 77,600. Okay, is where I'm at. That's the 70% minus my wholesale fee of 5,000. So 77,600 minus, let's say, $10,000 in repairs for this property. So that brings it to 67,600. So I know it's a tall order to try to go to the seller and say, hey, I can give you 67,000 for it. And that's gonna be your mayo, by the way. That's gonna be your maximum level offer. I'll probably start at 60. Um, I know it's a tall order, especially with the description and the choice of words in the description, but it can be done. So if any of you guys do it, just let me know. Let me know in the description. Shoot me a message in the group, Real Estate Wholesalers, Real Estate. Um, but yeah, just your numbers need to make sense. This seller is still asking for too much, but I have seen people asking too much here on Zillow, and I have been able to get it down. One particular property comes to mind that the seller. Let me give some background. The seller he was a flipper. He had two properties that he was working on at the same time, so he needed to get rid of that one that he had for sale. He listed it. He listed on Zillow for 85. And actually, I was new on this one, so I didn't run my numbers. The seller called me, and I was working my 9 to 5 at that time. And he called me, and I needed to get back on the phone in my 9 to 5, and I just gave him an offer of $60,000, which it was completely, yeah, like I pulled it out of my ass. It just wasn't. I didn't do my numbers. Don't do that, guys. I didn't do my numbers or anything. I just gave him an offer of $60,000. And he accepted that offer. But then I went back to my mentor at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, that offer is way too high. So we need to go back to that guy and do another offer." So I went back to that guy. I don't know what I told him, but was able to negotiate it down to 30,000, and that's where we needed to be. Actually, I think he negotiated back up to 35, which kind of worked for us anyways. So but anyway, so that's an example of a seller asking. They're gonna ask. They're gonna ask whatever number. That's an example of seller asking for too much, and us as wholesalers being able to talk them down. Talk them down like hey, you see this needs to be repaired, and that's gonna cost me X amount of dollars. Or the closing, I'll take care of the closing costs, or whatever you need to tell the seller to be able to get that deal. But I think it's definitely doable if you guys want to go online and get this deal. This is definitely something that I would go for. But I'm not going to, but this is something that I would look into, and I will make that call, and I would at least get the seller on the phone, and fill him out and see where they at. See where their motivation is at. Again, guys, motivation and numbers. Those are the two things you need to look for. Motivation, you're able to kind of sort of figure it out when you're looking at the post on Zillow, but you won't know 100% until you're on the phone with that seller. And numbers, the only way to know your right numbers is to run comps and actually get your ARV, and from there, kind of figure out where you have to be as far as numbers. I wouldn't digit. I just did that calculation, and that was completely for demonstration sakes. So don't use my numbers, but don't use Zillow's numbers for sure. Don't use my numbers, but that's just to show you how I would do this. If my comps, Zillow sometimes is right, guys. I mean, you know, it's very rare, but they're right sometimes. So if it is 118, that's how I will run my numbers, and I will bring it down all the way to about 67 grand, and I will offer the seller about 60. Anyway, so that's how I do it. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me show you where to reach me. All right, so my group, my Facebook group. Join our Facebook group, real estate wholesalers, wholesale real estate. We specialize on new wholesalers starting real estate new. Either you haven't done any deals or you're thinking about, you're starting that analysis paralysis stage and you're thinking about jumping in, or you have just done a deal and you're like, how do I keep this going? So that's what we specialize in that group, and I'll be happy to help you on there. I'm always in there. I'm always always answering questions. Um, so go ahead and go to that group, join the group, subscribe to this channel. We also have content coming out. We are going to start doing interviews to experts. I'm not the expert on everything, so I'm bringing in some people. We're just gonna start doing interviews, so you definitely want to check that out. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and get our wholesaling calculator, which is a cool resource when you're doing your deals. Basically, with just all you need is three comps in our calculator. Will basically calculate your deal out, and it will give you a number to give the seller. So that link is below. Also, join our mailing list. What you have to join our mailing list anyways to get the calculator, and by joining our mailing list, you get the calculator anyway. So it's kind of like a catch 22. You get the calculator, or you join the mailing list. You're doing both. So that's it, you guys. My name is Jonathan of Market Ninja. Let me know if you have any questions. You can reach me in the group. You can leave a comment. I always check the comments. Thank you very much. I hope this helps.